excited today because I have with me somebody that I've wanted to have a good conversation with, and I'm going to let her introduce herself. It's her first podcast, she told me. So tell the audience who you are and what you do.
My name's Mandy Smith, and I am the owner of a title company, Succession Title, in the real estate industry. And I'm also a lifestyle and business coach. So I have two companies. My main one is Succession Title, though.
Yeah.
I'm a certified John Maxwell coach and speaker. And I'm a mother. I have 3 kids, one 9-year-old, my daughter, and then my 2 stepchildren, Adam and Aubrey, that are 14. And then my husband, who's also in the real estate business as well. He does land development and building.
Right. And I think I saw that they're twins.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're
okay.
14-year-old twins. Yeah, boy-girl twins.
Very cool. My brother's got a pair of twins, and so it's that, and then I only have one, so my little 5-year-old. So, well, cool. So tell the audience a little bit about title first, because I think there's some people that don't know what a title company does. Give us a little background on that.
Yeah, so that a lot of people don't know what title insurance is. So anyone who buys a home is going to need title insurance. So title insurance ensures the buyer that indeed the property is free of any judgments or liens or any encumbrances, and that the property is theirs and no one can come back and say that it is theirs.
Right.
Every transaction will need one, and our main customer, even though it is the general public, it's actually the realtors, because the realtor is the one who is the guide for their sellers in where they're going to close, even though the buyer is the one who holds the title insurance. So I know it's negotiable between realtors, but that's what we do. We sit down and we really focus on creating an experience for the buyers and the sellers, so when they leave, they're raving about their realtors, and where we can ask them for more referrals, especially if they liked working with my team. We tell them, hey, if you send Mike some more business, do you know anybody who's looking to buy or sell? We'll take great care of them, just like we took great care of you, and Mike will lead you our way.
Right. So I think, because it's like the one person after contract that's who they're talking to the most as far as getting documents, setting up their closing, and any documents that you guys are needing to make sure that it closes correctly.
Yes, we're that third disinterested party.
Right.
We're not representing the buyer or the seller. We're representing the transaction, and we coordinate it all and sit down on the table and drag it across the closing line.
Absolutely. And I think it's an important role when you're that third party, but at the same time, you've got to make sure that everybody's happy, right? As far as having a buyer, seller, selling agent, listing agent, and everybody has a smooth transaction. And so the fact that role, I think it's a very important role in the transaction. So having that type of service, I think helps facilitate that, and at the same time creates that referral.
It really does, because we're an extension of our client's business. In addition to that, some of our agents, they get us on the buyer side of deals. So we want to show those listing agents or even the buyer's agents on the other side of the deal the same admiration and respect and service as we would do the directing agent.
Right. So how did you get into title work?
Over a poker game.
Over a poker game. Okay.
Yeah. So I did medical sales. I sold sports medicine rehab.
Okay.
And I was, I thought it was going to be a lot more glamorous than it was, because you hear, when I was getting out of college, they're like, oh, medical sales. And I just really thought it was going to be like a really cool job, but I was just chasing doctors down the hall trying to get, on their calendar, and the nurses weren't really nice to me unless I came with like tacos or something.
With the goodies.
Yeah, so I was like a glorified donut girl, really. I really wasn't. I felt like I invested. I paid for myself to go to college at Texas Tech, and I paid 100% rent, bills. My parents could afford to pay for my car payment, and I would get some extra money from them when they could, but I had to pay for everything myself. And so I thought, I graduated, I need a prestigious job. And I was the first to graduate from college in my family, and I'm slinging donuts, chasing, people to try to let me in the doors.
Right.
And so I loved my manager, and that's why I stayed, and I did okay. And then one day I just had it. There was this really mean nurse that I just had it. I was like tired of.
How long were you doing that? How long had it been where you had it?
Probably like 3 years.
Okay.
And then so prior to me having Sloan, my daughter's 10 years old, I would play poker every Friday night. And so I went to my poker game. And
was that because you had friends that did it, or was
yes,
just college, or what?
Me and my husband at the time, me, him, and this other like poker crew was like Charlie Parker from WOAI, like just like him, like an old guy. I mean, old guy. Oh, Charlie, I hope you don't hear this. You know, an old guy, young guy, some guy who lays carpets, some guy. It's just like these random people that we were all in rapport because we loved poker. Yeah. And so I was just complaining about work. And then this one guy was like, hey, you should get into the title business. And I said, tile? Please. I'm not going to go sell tile or flooring. Right. And he's like, no, I think you'd do well. Come talk to my boss. So I went to Fidelity National Title, and I interviewed there. And for the first 6 months, I didn't know what title insurance was. I knew that I had to go out there and meet realtors, build relationships with them, connect them with an escrow officer who was going to do a great job. Right. And so that was 2007, 8, and then 2009 or 2008 happened. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so hard. Like, this is a really hard job. And everyone's like, no, the market, it's going down. So I left title for 6 months to go back to medical sales, where I did pretty okay. And they were asking me to go back the whole time. And then the market started getting a little better in 2009 because my friends, realtors that I had met the past 2 years, were like, hey, everything's going great. We miss you. Like, let's go to lunch. And I just had built relationships. And so that's when I started working in the First American family. I got back into title, and I was with the First American brand for 9 years. And so I had excelled in sales. I was number one in the nation for 4 years, year over year, with the highest premium in the nation and year over year increase of new different type of business. And it was fun. I absolutely loved it. And I became the VP there, and I had to learn leadership and go from there. So I was there for about 9 years. And then I went to go work for the largest independently owned title company for 2 years. And then 2 years ago, I started my own thing. So it's been a journey.
Yeah, I think you popped on the radar with me because I started in 2006. Okay. And I think when you were at First American, it was the first time I heard of you, and it was at the location. I think it has to be Heebner or somewhere around. I think it was at that, but you were off of.
I was all around, but that was like my main location.
Area in there, right? Yeah. And so, I mean, when you're talking about starting a title company, I mean that's not something that one individual it's easy to do. So you said leadership when you were talking about being in leadership with First American. How did you get the idea that you wanted to start your own?
So I didn't really get an idea that I wanted to start my own. I got forced into opening my own title company by scaling these other large corporations and independently owned title companies. The title business can be very cutthroatish and greedy, and I can say I have been involved in some of those actions that I was taught from some of my leaders. And now that I'm an owner, I would never do some of the things that I was told to do, just because but I didn't know any better, but now I know better, so I'll do better. Yeah. So between, I haven't talked about this in a while. I scaled First American Title to be number one in San Antonio and with some major national numbers. I got recognized by the big leaders. I was taken to executive retreats, and I mean, treated like a celebrity there. But the large independent title I went to afterwards, they had been recruiting me for a while. And they were saying, so this is what's going to happen to you. And I said, yeah, right. It's not going to happen to me. Like, they love me. Like, this is not going to happen to me. And what they predicted would happen to me happened to me. And it was devastating.
Well,
it was pretty devastating.
what was it that happened to you?
It's business.
Okay.
Now that I'm a businesswoman,
Yeah.
it was just business.
Okay.
They were going to put non-competes behind my back. Tell people in the company, here's some non-competes, sign them for a nice sum of money, which is great, and they should take the money, and it was a great opportunity, but not to tell me. And so after they made their rounds, everybody started to tell me. And so it started happening. So I called my then soon-to-be leader, was like, it's happening. And he was like, it's just a business strategy. It's a corporate strategy. This is what they do. And I was like, okay. Like, I was so confused. And so the Business Journal really socked it to me because I didn't get on for a comment. They said, Mandy Pilgrim, because at the time I was Pilgrim, Mandy Pilgrim Mass Exodus, a first American title, because when I left, half of the company left with me. Little did they know that I didn't know that everybody was going to come. Yeah. It was me and one of my very, very close best friends were going to leave. And everybody kind of like carried me out of there. They all made a plan behind me. So they made me look like a lot more powerful person than I am. I wasn't. I just have influence and friendships. And so after that, I go to the next company who has warned me that this is going to happen. And I jump into their arms, and they fully indemnify me and pay me for a period of 1 year to sit out because I had signed a non-compete not knowing it. Shame on me, not shame on anybody else. It's me for not reading. I say just a sales girl then because I wasn't a businesswoman. I didn't read and know what I was signing. So it was really hard for a recovering / workaholic. It's really hard. A lot of people thought that, oh, you just get to sit out and you get paid still. And I was like, when you're used to getting up and doing your thing and you're told you can't. Yeah. And I know mine was on a micro level compared to this coronavirus. Sure. But mine was on a micro level where I couldn't leave my house. They had private investigators following me. They would take pictures of me at Starbucks with some of my realtor friends that I was friends with before real estate, both of us. Pictures of me at lunch. Like, it was one of the worst times of my life. Yet I was still making money and not having to work. So a lot of people are like, what's wrong? Why are you sad? I'm like, you don't get it. Yeah. I like to be productive. I like to make things happen. And there is a list of realtors that if I called them, I got sued more money. I mean, it was bad.
So that's why they had the PIs, because they wanted to see if you were violating your non-compete. Mm-hmm.
So even after all that, I still was just talking to someone this morning about an hour ago. And I said, we're talking about First American. I said, that was my favorite job ever. I was really good at what I did. Yeah. And it got taken away from me. But now it's just business. Now I've learned it's just business. I don't have to have those like girly, sad feelings. But I worked really hard for them. Yeah. I gave up friend time. The first few years of my daughter's life, I don't really remember because I was so focused on the wrong things, spending time with people who aren't there for me these days, whether it's old clients or friends or people just to check in on me. Yeah. And so when I go to the new company, a few months in, after the non-compete's over, I get fired. So not only do I get a left hook, then I get a right hook. And then I'm like, literally, what the? Yeah. And then I'm like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I was like, how am I ever going to recover? And my God, literally, my God, he pulled through for me. In 3 months, I already had my fee attorney office set up. And so I got in connection with an attorney that owns title companies in every major market here in town. He's been there through all my career changes. And he's always been my mentor. And he helped me start a fee attorney operations within 3 months. I cried for a week. My kids saw me a mess, but they also saw me recover, and that was pretty cool. And so I was a fee attorney office for, I guess, 6 months, and then I get a scary letter from a multimillionaire that asked me to please stop calling myself an owner of a title company. And I wasn't an owner of the Mandy C. Smith team at Providence Title. I wasn't the owner, so I shouldn't have been calling myself that, even though financially I was, in it. But I wasn't an owner, because only an attorney can own a fee attorney operations.
Okay.
So I was like, oh no. Here we go again. Yeah. My mentor is not going to mess with other attorneys who are multimillionaires, and he's not going to deal with this disruption. I'm like, why? Can everybody just leave me alone? And can I just, rebuild? I'll be quiet. And then my husband said, here we come, succession title. I go, what do you mean? He goes, here you go, succession title. And so we had bought the name Succession Title, I don't know, like a week after I got fired. And we named it, we saw a TV show, Succession. I was like, ooh, that's a cool name. I just love it. And so I bought the name because it describes my career, succession along the way.
Okay.
If you look up the definition, it talks about title and a succession of land. Okay. And the process is like really a file as a succession along the way to closing. And so it's a really cool little story of in depth of why I named my company that. And if somebody told me that it was going to be as hard as it was if somebody told me it was going to be as hard as it was to do what I did to start Succession Title, I probably wouldn't have done it. But I was so focused on, oh no, I don't want my mentor to say, hey, honey, I love you, but we're going to have to cancel your contract because I don't want to deal with these, all these attorneys. Like, people want to stop you. He's like, Mandy, people want to stop you from working. I don't know, they want to stop you. But if you want to come to me, Mandy, and he was even like, come to me, like, we'll be okay. Let's work together. And I was like, no, you'll love me.
Yeah.
You think you want me, and then you'll have me, and I'll do a really good job for you. Yeah. And then something's going to happen. You're going to start getting jealous of the number. You'll like the numbers that are coming in your company, and then you're going to start getting jealous of what my cut is that you actually set up for me. Right. Because you're going to dang a carrot, and I'm going to go eat past 5 carrots past that, because I don't know, I was just born with it. With that drive. Mm-hmm. And I just said, I'm going to try to do this. And so I went through the whole process of what it takes, and it's a lot. Yeah. I wouldn't have done it if somebody told me how hard it was. And I opened Succession Title. It is mine. I'm 100% managing member. Yeah. Nobody owns it but me. It's part of my PTSD of mine. No one can take it away from me. Yeah. And so it's just me and my teams. And my husband is an amazing businessman and mentor to me as well. So he's, taught me the financials of making sure I keep a healthy company for my employees. So this lasts for a long, long time. Yeah. So that's a really long answer of why I decided to open Succession Title. If I had not gone through what I went through at the First American, I probably would have loved to stay there. I thought I was going to retire there.
Yeah.
I thought they loved me.
Thank you for sharing the long version. You answered a lot of other questions for me as far as like the name of Succession. But I didn't know that. I didn't know that story. I knew, you know what I mean? As far
I
as
don't tell a lot of people that. And, I know we're doing a live video now. And so I kind of was like, you know what? I can't live my life anymore not being authentic. Like I used to hold back a lot talking about God. And some people who were close to me, they're like, yeah, right. You never hold back. I used to a little bit because I either had clients who I know didn't believe in God or whatever, or they didn't like to talk about spirituality. And now if I talk about something and you don't like it, then you're probably not going to I just can't do anything but be as authentic as I possibly can right now. And so I didn't plan on saying that at all. And not a lot of people know the story because not a lot of people deserve to know it.
Well, this makes this, I took this snapshot from your Facebook and because it kind of hit me in a lot of different ways from stuff that I've gone through. But it was when you were putting your sign on the new building.
Oh.
And it says, can I read it?
Sure.
It says, "This was only a dream as I lay crying when I thought I had lost it all, or what I thought was my everything. Boy, did God have much bigger plans for me. Thank you all to all my friends and family for your support." And it was putting your actual marquee sign above your new office coming up. That explains that and why I took a snapshot of it and made me, the struggle. And this is the reason why I started this podcast is because that right there and that journey, just from that, I mean, you have way much more in your life, I know. But just right there, I mean, that pushing through that perseverance, that because you were like, what now? I mean, they're coming at you from all angles and whatnot. And so I applaud you for that. I applaud you for starting your own thing. When I first met you, because I hadn't met you until the golf tournament this past year. Mm-hmm. When I met you and you said that and you had such pride in your logo when you gave me your card, because I asked you about it because I thought it was really cool and I thought I liked the name. I could tell that there was that pride with it, and just from what you've been doing. So, I mean, I know there's a lot of title companies, and we've been in the business for a long time, and we have relationships with everybody. Absolutely. But this is not a title thing for me. It's more of the journey and you pushing through and getting to where you're at and being able to kind of just be grateful from everything that you've gone through. And I can tell in your face right now just how rewarding that is, and to be standing here proud and so I know this is not the end. I'm not ending this conversation, but that just, it's a lot, and I wanted just to applaud you.
Thank you.
Going back to your family, are you originally from San Antonio?
Mm-hmm. I'm born and raised in San Antonio. I lived in Lubbock for 5 years, where I went to Texas Tech University, and then moved back here. So,
siblings?
I'm the youngest of four. Mm-hmm. Boy, girl.
Okay. You talked about this drive that you have. Is that from parents, or is that from brothers or sisters, or being the youngest?
That's a good question. My mom is like a get it done. My mom has a good work ethic. I think it's because I don't know. Like literally when I was 15 years old and I went to Churchill High School, I wanted to get a job because I was like, I want to make some money. And I knew my parents couldn't give me any money because they only had so much. Mm-hmm. And so I knew that they couldn't give it to me. So I figured out young, like if you go to work, they give you a paycheck. You work harder, you can get more pay, get more money.
Yeah.
And so I learned young that, even though my family took care of me, I really had to take care of myself if I wanted all the extras. So I learned young to work hard. And then even my mom would make me work hard at home. So I was the maid. I mean, I could mop. I mean, literally now I could mop I don't do that, but I could mop a great floor. I could iron that shirt you have on to a crisp. I mean, my mom used to make me do everything. So she just made me work hard. And so it just kind of stuck with me. And then I grew up around friends who had a lot. So I knew that there was another life out there and that I had to just go work and get it. And so that's what I guess put me to figure out how to get some grants and loans for school to get into college, and it just kind of started from there.
What did you go to school for?
I went to school for human development and family studies. I wanted to be a marriage and family therapist, and so I was just sharing on a Zoom call this morning that's still one of my dreams, is to have my own practice. So I'd have to go back and get my master's. And so I would have a practice to do that. So that's why I love coaching. So it's
it kind of feeds into it. That's cool. You have on your bio John Maxwell coach.
Yes.
So that kind of, that's just coaching, but does that also kind of lead into speaking as well?
Yes, it sure does.
Yeah.
One of my dear friends, Tomas Martinez, he introduced me to the Maxwell Company. Okay. I got certified with them 4 years ago, I believe. And I got certified in coaching, speaking, and training. So they have fantastic materials on different mastermind groups, just other types of trainings, as well as speaking engagements and keynote speaking that we've been trained in.
Did you get into that after, before Succession, or when?
Yes, way before. When I was it was before Succession. It was it was 4 years ago, because Succession this month is its 1 year birthday.
I saw that next week, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And so it's 1 year now. So it was probably 4 years ago.
Okay. So did you get into that because of Tomas, or did you get in because of the leadership role you were in? You just like that?
So I was the leader of a lot of people.
Okay.
And so as many, I'm sure when you're a leader, you really have to grow yourself. Yeah. So you're able to pour out on others and help others. And so that's really what I needed to do. These companies were paying me a lot of money, and I wanted to make sure that I was producing for them by helping not only the company and the revenue with sales training, which I could, figured out how to do that, but I really wanted to help train them on how to have a great life and how to I wanted them to work for a company that they really thought that, wow, it's just not about the numbers. They're teaching me how life skills too. So that's really why I got into it, is to build value to the large team that I had at the time.
Yeah. So where is that as far as coaching, and is that you've started your own coaching business now, right?
Yeah. So this past year, the year before, it's about a year and a half, I launched my own coaching company, Mandy Smith Performance Coaching. I did that because it was in the midst of, kind of reinventing myself. Okay. And I felt like I had all this knowledge and techniques and things that I have learned. I didn't make these things up. Mm-hmm. I've learned them from other successful people. And I felt that I put my own unique mechanism together, mm-hmm. that I could help teach others to get some really cool results in their life. Yeah. And then I made, first it's more of an online, I wanted to do modules and sell it to people beyond San Antonio. Mm-hmm. With my high performance coaching, I really like to focus on people who have, had it all, whatever that all is, and then they feel empty. Okay. To really help them get back on track and help them catapult to the next level with a lot more fulfillment. Mm-hmm. And then in addition to that, really working with people who have no idea about personal development, so we could literally blow their mind and get some really cool results fast. Yeah. So I have about 7 people, non-real estate, that I coach. Some of them are business owners, teachers, other coaches. And so that's kind of how I decided, like, hey, I'm opening my own title company. I'm going to open my coach. I wanted to do what I've always wanted to do.
Yeah. So I'm sure so with Succession, I mean, you also have an Austin office, correct?
Yes, I just went into the Austin market, and I have one team down there. And so my goal is to be in every major market in Texas. I'm not looking to be the biggest, but I want to be in every major market.
That's cool. I brought that up because I wanted to talk about your team, since you have your team here in San Antonio, and then you have the team in Austin. Do you use a lot of that mentorship? I mean, with your team, I mean, we talked about development and not just, being transactional. How do you better your teams at Succession?
How I better my teams at Succession is I pay very, very close attention to them. I really help pour into their lives, help them grow as leaders. And that's where I feel I can flex my leadership muscles the most, is because I am a very empathetic leader who will make you uncomfortable and will help you produce some really cool results in your life and your business. And that's what's connected me with a lot of people in the title industry is for those reasons. Yeah. I'll do some like book clubs. One thing I don't do is I don't push my personal development on them. Okay. They know that it's there. Yeah. And I'm there for them, but more so what I do with them is I try to teach everybody to be a leader, whether you're in sales, how to be a leader within the company and bring the right energy to the team. If you're an escrow officer, how to really lead your unit, have the hard conversations, set goals, measure. And even if you're sitting in the front answering phones, you're the director of first impressions. Yeah. How to be the energy for the office and how important they are. And then for my branch managers, as well as how to lead the team. Again, how to have the hard conversations and how to make sure that our team is focused and aware of our goals.
Yeah. Well, I bring that up because our mutual person, Eddie.
Oh, Eddie.
And so when I first met him, I sat down with him and I asked how he started with you and just kind of asking him the same kind of questions right now. And I thought it was going to be a 30-minute coffee. We sat there for 2 hours.
Oh, that's Eddie.
And and then I asked a little bit about like him joining there and everything, because it was a new company. And so I kind of wanted to know, and he brought up some of that about you. And so that's why it kind of, and I've seen just how he's been growing in the short time that I've known him. So I was just curious. I wanted to see how you interact with them and how you get them to do more. You know what I mean? To be better. Because starting your own and being the new kid on the block, like, you have to outperform.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people ask, when I first started, someone was like, who's the Succession title? And we didn't have any Google reviews yet. I was like, well, my underwriters are the largest title companies in the nation. So it's Fidelity National Title and all their brands, Stewart Title. And so I have like the big guys there that are, making me strong. Yeah. But I have a lot of work ahead of me. Yeah. It's only been a year, and yes, we're making some traction and doing well, but I still have a lot of work ahead of me.
And it's that's part of it, right? That's the journey, right? That's what makes it rewarding. Yes. I saw that your website. I saw that you said like I did my first website or something about you, and I saw that and I was like, I like all of these experiences. I have like this personal like thing because it's similar to like all the stuff that I've done, and I'm going like that. It hits all the right things because website, the logo that we talked about, like your name, like all of those things. Like it's just all kind of makes me think back of stuff that I've done. And so I just think that's the fun part for me. You know what I mean? Like kind of going through all that, starting it, creating it.
It really was fun because if somebody would have told me 2 years ago that I would have worked on my website, like what? But everything I've done, Mike, in the past, year and a half, is hard. And as it's hard, I'm like, wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
I got through it.
Yeah.
I did it. And
Check
it's
that
like,
box.
yeah. And even with like title, like there's probably some people that have worked with me in the past been like, yeah, right. I don't really think she knows title insurance. I know my business.
Yeah.
And it's not as hard as I thought it was. I just really like people better.
Right.
I like to deal with people. I don't really like to deal with the details and stuff like that.
Right.
But I learned it. And so I just have so much more confidence in myself as a businesswoman than knowing that I could sit across from anyone, build rapport with them, make them like me, and get some business. Like that's just a gift that God gave me. Now to know that I can look at P&Ls, balance sheets, talk to underwriters, get new it's a really good feeling. Yeah. And I still can't, hearing myself, it's funny.
Well, and then there's another thing. You got a new office coming out. So like the build out of that, I know I saw the pictures of the sign, and I think your husband's business is going into the next door.
Yes, Everview Homes is going next door.
Yeah, so and now I saw the two signs together. I'm like, that's awesome. Like, your husband's business, and you got these big old signs, and you're putting them up. Like for us, when we opened this office, it was like that. Putting the sign up.
Yes,
was like,
your office is so beautiful.
Oh, thanks. But I don't know. I just, that whole newness of something coming in, and then like it's working on it. Of course, it's going to be hard. If it was easy, everybody would do it.
Yeah.
And so kudos again on that. Tell me something about, I saw Iron Man.
Oh my gosh.
What is that about? Don't tell me you're an Iron Man.
I completed my Ironman 70.3 in 2018. So remember when I couldn't work, but I was still getting paid?
Yeah.
I was like,
what do I do?
What am I going to do? I'm going to go crazy. So one of my really good friends, Shannon, was like, hey, let's do this. And she's like one of my hardcore friends who's always like asking me, what are you going to do to get to the next level? What do I need to hold you accountable for? And so she said, do you want to sign up for this? And I was like, yeah, sure. What is it? Yeah, I'll do a run. I'll ride a bike. So I got the details of it, and they said, you're going to swim 1.2 miles in a lake in Austin, and then get out of the lake, get on your bike, and bike 56 miles. And then after 56 miles, you're going to transition into your last leg of a half marathon. And I was like, that's so hardcore, I'm in. And so my only goal was like to finish on time, so I wasn't like a loser. I was like, I'm not trying to place. I was like, I just want to do this. And it got my mind off it. So I literally would have to train every day. And I trained for 6 months. So that took a lot of that 1 year time up.
Okay.
And so race day was really, really hard. They say it's all in the training, that you just go with it.
Sure.
And so the one leg that I thought I was going to be the best at was like panic mode. So I'm Mandy the Mermaid. So growing up, I lived in the pool, and so they'd always call me Mandy the Mermaid. And so I just...
You're like, the lake's going to be easy.
No big deal. So it's 30 degrees outside, and I'm lined up with all these people, and I'm like... and all my friends that come to Austin to watch me, and my 80-year-old parents were there, and I was like, oh, my God. Okay, I can do this. Okay, God, please help me. Yeah. Please help me. And so... when they said, go, I made a mistake and try to get like leader of the pack, because that's just like me. And everybody is getting trampled on. You get trampled on. So men were hitting my legs, slapping me, and I was slapping people and kicking them with my feet. It was terrible.
In the water?
Yeah, because you're all start off together.
Okay.
And so this terror just like came all the way up here, and I just panicked, and I was like, and I was like, oh my gosh, my brain is saying this, my body's feeling this, my brain's saying, go, go, go. Oh my gosh, I get emotional thinking, because it was so scary. I did it at the time to prove to myself that I was still a badass.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm freaking a badass, and I'm going to do this. Because I can't believe I did it. I would never do that again. It was so dangerous. Like, I was getting trampled on. And so there's these grown men holding onto the buoys immediately going, I'm out. Like, I'm out. But I'm like, no, I invested thousands of dollars.
Yeah, and then the money, yeah.
6 months, a coach. My parents were there. My family. I mean, I just had to do this for myself at the time because I really felt like a loser. And so I just made it. And I was like, just get me out of the water and get me on my bike. Because I had really enjoyed the biking part of it. And so I got on my bike, and then it just got hard. Like these, and your age is put on your calf.
Okay.
So these 56-year-olds were kicking my ass, like passing me. And I was like, gosh, I'm trying.
Why is the age on their calf?
It just says like mine at the time. I think I was 42 then, 41. And they just put all of our ages on our calves. So we all know how old the person is.
Okay.
And so like these old people were like literally kicking my butt. And I was like, oh my gosh. And so I was like, oh, and I started getting frustrated again. So I started crying again. So I cried on that leg. And I'm like, just get me off the bike and get me onto my own 2 feet. So
Where was your friend?
All my friends?
No, the friend that got you in to do this. Was she there?
Oh, she was there too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
And so when I got on my own 2 feet to do the half marathon after biking 56 miles and swimming 1.2 miles, I got lost. I got lost. I mean, I just took another, like, turned too many times.
Where was the half marathon through? Like, how was?
It was in
This was in Austin?
It was in Austin at a convention center, and they ended up doing an obstacle course. Basically, I did too many laps, 1 lap.
Okay.
And so when I finished, everyone was like, and I finished on time.
Okay.
I wasn't one of the, I don't want to say losers. It's a finisher. I was a finisher.
Okay.
There's finisher and non-finishers.
You didn't tap out?
No.
Right. Okay.
But it was really hard, and I wouldn't do it again.
Yeah.
I would do a sprint marathon, which is a small, like, swim, bike, run, but I would never do that again. And it's like a second job. So if there's anybody that works for you that is doing a Ironman, they better make a lot of money because of the equipment and a lot of time. So it's really, it's a lot of time and money.
So,
and it's scary.
Well, that's pretty awesome because I told Julio about that. And he goes, she actually did what I want to do. He thought about buying a bike and like start, he wanted to do that. And then the other one, Anthony, he plays poker. So it was funny. He goes, she does everything that we do or that we want to do, like be a professional poker player and do this and all that. And I was like, that's funny. But that's awesome. We did a Spartan race. I don't know.
Oh, cool. I've heard of those.
So another reason why I started this podcast was because we were talking about mindset a lot during this first race that we did. And so it was 2019, beginning of 2019. And we just wanted something to kind of like train for or like get our mind to like, we're going to train and we're going to do this and stay focused. And it was kind of like a New Year's resolution. And one of the guys in the office said, hey, they're having this Spartan race here in San Antonio. And it was the Super, which is the 8-mile version. There's 3 versions. There's a 3-mile, an 8, and then like a half marathon, like a 13, 14-mile one. And then there's like 30 obstacles. So the 8-mile one was like, I think the whole office, maybe one person had run more than 8 miles, maybe 1 or 2 people. Mm-hmm. And we were like, let's just do it as an office. It'll be more fun. Yeah. Let's team building, we'll all train, and we all did it. The whole office competed. April, I think Anthony was the only one. He was brand new and he was like, oh, I'm not going to do it. But you described something where it was like you were by yourself and you were just, like that whole mental thing. And I think for a lot of us, we felt that because we thought we were all going to run together. And then all of a sudden the gun went off and everybody took off and everybody was on their own. So it was it was interesting. And, but getting through that and then kind of like you felt accomplished, but then we didn't stop there. There was the 2 other races. So if you finish all 3, you complete the trifecta in 1 calendar year. Cool. So you do the sprint, the beast. So mine was the beast, which is the half marathon one. And only 3 of us did it. And I'll never do it again. But I just wanted to finish. I told you, like, a lot of people like, oh, what'd you do? Why? I go,
because I was feeling like a loser at the time. It was really hard, and I was trying to prove to myself that I was a winner.
Yeah.
And I I didn't have to do that. But it really felt, what I did learn, though, is anything I put my mind to, I can accomplish. Mm-hmm. And anything you prepare and train for, you can accomplish, because the training only takes you so much. The rest of it is mental. And all I would say in my mind as I was crying, my mantra was, I'm strong, I'm powerful, I'm a leader, I'm a child of God. I'm strong, I'm powerful, I'm a leader, I'm a child of God. Like, that was my mantra. Swimming, crying, biking, crying. Like, and it was kind of a healing.
I was going to say, it sounds therapeutic.
Major healing.
Yeah.
And even on my long bike rides, when I'd have to do like 30-mile bike rides on Sunday, you can't listen to any music or anything. And sometimes I would just cry because I'd gone through some trauma. And my work trauma, and work's so important to a lot of people's lives. And when you go through hard times, it just hurts.
Yeah.
And so, it was a really healing, therapeutic time. And so I feel good that I've done it, and I know I could do it again. I like my time.
Sure. Yeah. That's a lot of
time.
It's a lot of training. Yeah. I mean, just thinking about like just the dieting and everything else. Like,
I was eating 4,000 calories a day. I mean, that was fun though.
Yeah.
But it was, planning your meals and.
Yeah. No, I like that, the mindset of putting yourself in that mindset and kind of like this embracing the suck,
Yes.
But I think there's a lot of other ways you can do that. You know what I mean? As far as like working out, like, just different things that, that discomfort, but anyway, let's talk about the coaching again, because I'm intrigued a little bit about it, because I've had discussions, had one with Missy about coaching. I've done coaching here for real estate, before, and I mentioned that it just wasn't the right fit for me. Mm-hmm. But give me some of your mentors as far as like when you decided you're like, I need coaching, right? When was that like?
In 2008, in 2008 is really, I was just like, I just noticed things that I'd never noticed before, and I wanted certain things, and I started to go seek out those people who had what I wanted, and I was like, how did you get what you get? And so at the time they said, you need to join these brainstorming groups, which now we call like mastermind groups. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the things that they would talk about were like over my head. I was like, what is that? But I just kind of sit there quiet and learn. And then my relationship with Keller Williams Realty, I got into going to some of their trainings and like some of their seminars, and then I would meet other coaches within the real estate industry. Is kind of how I got into coaching. I was already into some personal development, and then a lot of people call themselves coaches, and I believe that it's hard to get coached by somebody who doesn't have the results in their life that you want. And so I have done a lot of cool things in my life. I've made a lot of mistakes in my life. I've failed a lot along the way in my life. But I get up and keep going, and I know some of the strategies it takes to win. And when I've got my first coach, her name was Shannon. It was kind of mind-blowing to the whole coaching of her really pulling out what was already within me, that nobody just asked me some of those thought-provoking questions and helped me wake up to life to say, whoa, like I need to get conscious about life and what is it that I really want. Yeah. And then from there, I've just had some really great coaches, but in the beginning, I didn't want to invest in myself. I wanted to learn. I was, again, talking on a Zoom call today, and I wanted to buy like Gucci purses instead of paying $1,000 or $800 a month for coaching. And I said, any of my Gucci's you see now, they're like 18 years old. I just take care of them. But I didn't invest in myself. And the moment I started investing in myself, Mike, I ended up looking back one day going, how did I get here?
Yeah.
How did I get here? Yeah. And now I want to help other people do that for their lives.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how I got into it all.
I think that's what kind of holds me back in the sense of coaching. I look at, like you said, the person calling them a coach, right? And, we have social media, there's a lot of people on there, and, you see a lot of the coaches in real estate and different things. But, and I think I've had a coworker here, he tried a life coach, and it was a lot of money. He did that for, I think, a month or maybe something like that, 3 months or something. And I just, I was curious. I was like, what did you get out of it? Like, what have you learned, that you didn't know before you started it? And I don't think he had the best results either. So it just kind of makes me weary on me personally, like looking for that. But I always think about, like, when I meet that person that I know, that's what I want, and they know they've been through it, they've gone through all of that, and they can say, do this, don't do this, do this, don't do that, because it's just like they've been through it, and they know they can tell you how to get there.
Yeah. So with my Mandy Smith performance coaching, so there's 4 categories of, not within my coaching, but so there's teaching and training that people do in general, like in general. And then there's coaching, there's mentoring, and then there's like therapy and counseling people go to. My coaching is more of pure coaching, which is going to help you pull out what's already within what you want to do, is blended with a little bit of mentoring, because I've been places, mixed in with some teaching, because I'm going to teach you some really cool stuff that I learned from Tony Robbins, some really cool stuff that I've learned from John Maxwell, some really cool stuff that I've learned from multimillionaires, some really cool stuff I've learned from great parents. Some really cool stuff I've learned from some of the amazing Bible teachers out there. Like, I have a lot in me to teach, but it's going to be more coaching, less teaching, and helping you come to that. This morning, I was asked again to talk about what my coaching was like. So I have that posted on my my Facebook page on what that is like. But I just really help people get clarity on what it is that they want, and help them get that untapped potential that's in them, and really exceed and get that higher performance that they're wanting, with accountability and the hard conversations, because that's what people are paying me for. If they're not doing what they need to be doing, and it's like, hey, so, what's going on? Also, I'm really good at helping people discover the saboteurs in their life. I've done self-sabotaging in my own life, and I was determined to figure out why I was doing it. And so it has a lot to do with the I ams, or the people ares, or the world is, life is. And I can really stop and listen to people's limiting beliefs and help them turn those around. So it's a blend of mentoring, teaching, and coaching is what I do at Mandy Smith Performance Coaching.
So what do you do for your personal growth? You mentioned Tony Robbins, but do you have a coach right now that that you meet with, that you talk with? What does your personal growth look like?
So my husband laughs at me. So my husband is he reminds me of some of my friends I have, but my husband is so smart, and he knows so much. It's kind of annoying, but that he's like, what do you mean? What you focus on, of course, is going to expand. Yeah, put it in your calendar, and you need to. It's like it comes easy for him, and so what was the question? I've got
What is
thrown off.
your personal growth? What does that look like?
And so he's like, why do you have a coach for everything? And I'm like, because. He's like, God, you spend so much money on coaching. I said, I don't. It's not a lot of money to me compared to what I feel like I gain back from it. Mm-hmm. But I've had a spiritual coach, literally like, a coach of working out. The coolest coach that I hired is Kate Byers, and I hope I can tag her to this. She does corporate executive women's wellness coaching. The coolest experience ever. That's why I can't. I met her. She was referred to me. Okay. And that's why I can't wait to coach a high-level executive woman who's burnt out. I have some really cool things that I've done that helped me that I can help others. Yeah. When I have a mentor, Bo Carrington, who's an executive coach, that he has been there for me since my first American days. And I am part of another coaching company. I take some clients on from them. It's called the Voice of One Coaches. Okay. And so I'm on coaching calls, for me to get better, not me coaching somebody. Yeah. 1, 2, 3 hours a week.
3 hours a week. Okay.
3 hours a week. So that's what I do. And then part of my personal growth and development is my read time, my workout time, goals. My goals are in front of me. I'm very, very purposeful. I'm really big about visualizations, and I have a visualization flip book that I look through every single week. And when it happens, I put a sticky note on it, and I give God the glory. And I'm like, amen, it came through. So I can look back on those when I'm sad. Otherwise, I'm like, or a hard day, and be like, look, God's brought me this far. Yeah. He's not going to let me go, you know? And so, I just really invest in my coaching. And
what does your morning look like? I know, a lot of high performance people have certain morning rituals and affirmations and prayer time and whatnot. What does yours look like? Do you have that type of time?
I do. So there's a book called The Miracle Morning. I'm sure you've read it, and it's really around that. So my goal is to do it 7 days a week. Okay. But if I do it 4 times, I've made it. Okay. But I'd like to do Sunday mornings and Saturday and Sunday mornings. I've done it on some those days, and it's a whole different kind of experience when you do your miracle mornings on the weekends.
Because you don't have anything after that.
It's really cool. Okay. Really, really cool. Yeah. But so for those of you that don't know what the miracle morning is, they have an acronym. It's called SAVERS: silence, affirmations, visualizations, exercise, and scribing, which is journaling. Yeah. And so that's my morning. And then I don't drink coffee.
You don't?
I'm not a coffee drinker.
Oh my gosh.
I'll be wacko. Makes me wacky, and then I can't sleep that night. So I drink hot water with lemon every single morning, and I take my supplements, and I try to eat well, and that's really.
What time do you get up?
5:30.
Okay. So we went to a conference, and Julio went with me, and they gave us I think they had the author. He was there. He was a
really?
Speaker. Yeah. So
cool.
they gave us all a copy, and he took that book, and it literally he changed from getting up at 6, 7 o'clock, whatever it was, and we were competing. Well, he started it first. I'll give him the credit, where he was getting up at 4:30, 5 o'clock, and then started going to the gym, and then so he kind of got me going with him, and then it started this whole let's get up at 4:30, go work out. And then our schedules changed because his responsibility with his son, he had to so we couldn't meet up in the morning because he had his son there. And so we were still doing it, but separate. So we, that's why we would post on our stories or whatever and say we got up, we did it, and it was our way of keeping accountable. But the getting up at a certain time and it being kind of habit kind of becomes that, I guess, ritual or whatnot for yourself. But now that we have so much time, during this whole.
Yeah, that's why I said 5:30. I normally would like to get up at 5:45, so I'm on the stair step or on outside by 5.
Yeah.
But so like right now I'm getting up at 5:30. I still have to go to work.
Yeah.
My job, my company
Yeah.
is essential. There's buyers and sellers out there. We have their livelihood out there, their finances, and we need to get those deals done. And so we have to be there, and I can't not just send my team and me not go. I mean, I have to be there.
Yeah.
So my life hasn't changed too much because I'm kind of boring. All I do is go to work and go home, and I only really hang out with a handful of friends. So,
what do you run, or what are you doing now as far as, since we're staying like kind of at home, like the gyms are closed, like what do you?
I've been running because I have a lot of stress with being a brand new business owner, the coronavirus, and a lot on my shoulders. So the running has just been helping me de-stress.
Okay. Yeah, I heard you say something about, I caught your webinar for like a few minutes because I was coming over here to like set up, and I heard you say something about you not being able to go to the gym and squat or something like that. It's going to be hard or something.
Well, I was talking about what it's like to coach with me. It's like, we're going to do a brain workout, and it's going to be exhausting after, at least like our first session when we're going to get down and, when we're going to do the planning. Yeah. It's going to be uncomfortable, and your brain will hurt a little bit, just like when doing the squats when we get back in the gym. So.
Yeah, it's kind of like the military where they break you down and then build you back up.
Yeah.
So it's a hard part. So I mean, you talked a little bit about what your goals are for succession, and not really about your coaching, but what are your future goals with succession? And you talked about opening up your own therapy.
Just like it. I said it today. I said it today on that webinar, and right now, because I'm just want to like put it out there.
Put it out in the world, huh?
Put it out there.
So not just the coaching part, but you're going to have what would you call it?
Me and my sister were talking about this because my sister she's got so much wisdom inside of her. And anyway, I was just thinking of like a practice that we've provided, coaching and therapy.
Okay.
Because coaching's totally different than therapy. And so, that's kind of like a blurry dream, but that's because I want to help. I want to help people.
Yeah,
it's the best feeling ever. It's the best.
It's giving of yourself to help others, right? I mean, that's
because I've been very selfish in seasons of my life, and this part, it's pretty fun. Yeah. It feels good. It's like this intrinsic reward when you see people wake up to their lives.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of I don't want to say let's talk about that but it's kind of what's going on right now, right? Like getting a lot of people right now, it's depressing, it's hard, it's, they're angry, all of these negative things, right? And for really good reasons. And I'm not knocking that it's not, but it's the mindset of, we're going to get through this, right? And what are we doing to push forward, to keep moving forward, to keep going? And I think that not everybody thinks the same way. People deal with stress a lot of different ways, but it's when you're leading, when you have leadership, and you have people that you're responsible for, and you see this, it's almost heartbreaking because like maybe I'm not doing my job. Maybe I'm not leading them the right way, because they need to understand that we need to keep moving forward. We can't stick our head in the ground and call it and just be like, well, we got to wait till this is over. And I think that having that conversation and the hard conversations and being able to kind of help each other get through this. I mean, that's what everybody's dealing with right now. It's the fear of the unknown. It's, how do we do this? And the fact that I'm a little guilty because I got to do my homework, right? When you come on. So I have to kind of scroll through all that I got is your social media. And so I felt a sense of gratitude just from looking at stuff that, and I know it's what you put out, but at the same time, it's also from coming from other people that are on your wall that are thanking you and tagging you and all these different things. And I just thought it was like you said, in this chapter in your life right now since Succession, I could feel all that gratitude just from other people and their postings and different things. Like I thought it was really cool that you took somebody pizza and wine and something and dropped that off, and it was, you know, just cuz or whatnot, and just the fact that they were like, wow, you know. And I mean, it's little things, but it all adds up, right? I mean,
it really does. And I was talking to my mom yesterday, and she said, you've always had that little servant's heart. You love to serve others and be there for others, and I've always had that. It makes me feel good, and now I get to do it on a really cool level that will prove the results for these other people in their life. And
leading by example, and
it's pretty neat.
that's what I saw was like you're leading by example. Your team's seeing that, they're putting that in their lives, and then it just kind of extrapolates, right? And I think that's cool. I think that it's inspiring. So just from like seeing from the outside in.
Thank you. I've worked really hard on the 50% of my leadership is what I've done, my part to grow myself and put those techniques in. And then the other half, of course, is God. So he does his part, and then I got to do my part.
Right.
But during this coronavirus time, even though it's scary for so many different levels, I know my team feels safe because I said, okay, guys, I know y'all get like the fun-loving Mandy, and here's business, and this is great, and I love on y'all, but we're gonna go through a little rough patch right now. Mm-hmm. But don't worry, because remember what I am? I'm a leader, and I'm a really good one. I'm a really good one that's so good that corporations and multimillionaires are scared of me. That's how good I am. And so I said, so don't worry, we're going to be okay. Yeah. I didn't start the company with the change in my purse. Right. We're going to make it through this. We're going to push it hard. We're going to make more calls. We're going to send more videos. We're going to up our level of service. We're going to go with the new wave of the future. We're going to get on video. We're going to do cool things. And like, and I'm not trying to like pump them up with a bunch of
smoke. Yeah.
It's the real deal.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like, and so every day my partner, my coach is me and God in the morning. I'm like, what are you going to do today, Lord? How are you going to keep me? What's going on today? Like, and so I genuinely tell my team, you're fine. Like, Mama's here. Yeah. We got you. We're going to be okay. Now you do your part so we can, so we can all make it through this.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Not even okay. I actually tell them better than we even went in. That's because that's what I believe. That's what will come out.
Well, and I agree. I think we all will, and I think if we all, like you said, do our part, and the new normal is going to be awesome. It's just that's what happens, and our generation, our lifetime, this is our thing. Other generations had other scenarios and different things that have happened, and I don't know. I just think that it's going to create this new way of how we're grateful. At the same time, hopefully it's all together and it's not divided and all these different things. But I think it's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, it'll all work out for our good.
100%. I don't know. I'm excited to see where Succession goes. I'm excited for you. I really appreciate you giving me the time and coming on here and telling your story.
Thank you for inviting me.
No, absolutely. Give me any last thoughts.
Any last thoughts? I'll give you some thoughts that I put on my story this morning.
Yeah.
I was running this morning, and I was feeling a lot of gratitude, more gratitude than normal with this stressful time. Mm-hmm. I was bickering with my husband, and it was like a 4-day bicker. And we came out of it. And so I just felt so like, so good. And I was running. I was like, oh God. I started thinking of all the great things in my life. And I said, why can't I just choose to be happy every day along the way instead of getting frustrated some days like I did 4 days ago? Yeah. And so my point is the whole journey and destination that I always thought, or we people, we think that we're going to be happy when the coronavirus is over and we can all get back to normal, or when my company is in every major market, or when my husband is doing what I tell him to do, or, you know, we'll be happy when if we really stop to see how far we've come, we've all come a long way, and just to choose to be happy now. And if really people knew the power of the vibration, and I'm getting into some NLP stuff. I'm certified in NLP, and so
what is that?
Neuro-linguistic programming.
Okay.
And so it's really cool brain stuff.
Mm-hmm.
When you feel good now, that vibration of either the thankfulness of God more is coming towards you, what you want will come to you a lot faster. And whatever that is, like I want peace. I want focus for my daughter. I want things that don't have monetary value to them. And so, and it can even work the opposite if you want whatever it is that you want.
Sure.
But just to really feel good now and to be happy. And those would really be my last words, because you think you're going to be happy at this destination over there, and it's just a massage. I'm getting massaged today. A mirage. A mirage. That's all it is.
It's the emptiness, right? Well, thank you, Mandy.
Yes.
I really appreciate your time. I really appreciate your thoughts, and I wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you so much.
And good luck with that. And also, prayers for your family and for your teams to be safe, and we all get through this.
Yes, we will. You too.
All right.